Any weaponization of the justice system should disturb every American. That's her statement? What? You did it! That's why you're being investigated, you lunatic.
The specific investigation my colleague Jake Gibson, Ashley Oliver, and myself are being told involves deprivation of rights, which in plain language means someone in a position of legal authority violating someone else's constitutional legal right. But we've learned from these well-placed sources it stems from a recent strike force set up inside the Justice Department to investigate an alleged plot to tie Trump to Russia in 2016.
Big Tish is in big trouble. She's now getting a subpoena. Lots of questions coming her way from the Department of Justice. Couple of reports on this and a trip down memory lane before we begin, because remember when Tish was out here saying things like this?
No matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are,
that
no one is above the law and that the law applies to all of us equally and fairly.
That's right.
Breaking news sources are telling us that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office are under investigation by the Department of Justice.
Oh, yep. So no one is above the law there. Tishy Letish. And she's getting hit with a subpoena. You can see here, New York Post reporting that Tishy Letish got subpoenaed by the DOJ over her $454 million civil fraud case against President Trump. And we were asking about this appeal because we listened to the oral arguments in the Court of Appeals from Tishy's lawyer, who was up there, and the judge was really scolding her, saying, this is ridiculous. How did this case even get brought? Remember, Tish came after Trump, tried to bankrupt him, got a $400 million judgment against him that's now currently on appeal. She's probably going to lose that. But her main claim was that Trump got too good of deals with these banking companies. Like, he was telling them that my assets were worth this, and they did their analysis of his assets, and they said it's actually worth this, and they came to deals. And she re-reviewed those deals with the banks and said Trump actually inflated these things and was taking advantage of the banks, who were independent businesses doing their own audits and not ever taking his word for it, because even in his disclosures, he was explaining, this is my opinion. You should go do your own analysis. It was all by the book. But she said that this was fraud. And we had an areola nipple judge, remember him? And Tish was there, anger on the areola, and a bonus torso photo guy who was playing footsie, allegedly, with his clerk. Alina Abba was the judge, complaining about the camera, complaining about the footsie up there because they were passing notes to each other. Anger on the nip was like, help me, baby. She's like, yeah, I got you, honey. And handed him notes and stuff. Alina said, this is ridiculous. Then they moved the cameras around. You remember, it was a whole thing. We covered it. Now, she is getting investigated for that because it was fraud from her. Now, the New York Attorney General, Letitia, was hit with subpoenas. Man, and I can't wait for this to happen because she is a criminal. Now, there was a jury probe that's coming after the Albany, or sent over by the Albany U.S. Attorney's Office over into Tishy's Tish. The Department of Justice convened a grand jury following the FBI also opening an investigation into the matter. Now, a second subpoena reportedly dealt with the AG's own probe into the NRA and the New York Times as they first reported. A well-placed source did not indicate whether it also included the recent claims of mortgage fraud. Tishy's people didn't respond to them, but they have responded here. Adam Klasfeld got this one. He said, a spokesperson for New York Attorney General Tishy Letish, who won a $500 million civil fraud verdict against Trump, which is on appeal, she'll probably lose it, responds to the probe launched by Trump, and it's being launched by Joe Sarcone, a special attorney over there as well, man in Albany. Now, any weaponization of the justice system should disturb every American. That's her statement? What? You did it! That's why you're being investigated, you lunatic. We stand strongly behind our successful litigation against the Trump Organization and the NRA, and we will continue to stand up for New Yorkers' rights. But she's a fraudster and a criminal. And remember, the Gateway Pundit, they have done some digging on this as well, and we saw a lot of this from whitecollarfraud.com. And here is a recap on this, but remember, Tishy and Schiff are mortgage fraudsters, allegedly. And here is one of the documents from Tish. Remember, she was saying, oh no, it's a 4-unit building so that I could get 4-unit financing. Turns out it's a 5-unit. She's got multiple electric boxes. It's all sub-united out. It's a scam. So she lied about it. She also lied about her residence in Virginia, saying that she lived there as a primary residence when she didn't. Her Virginia property was not primary residence and she did not live there. So Tish, as you can see, is in trouble and she's not happy about it. So life comes at you fast, Tishy. And that was a fun one from the House GOP, digging into that. Here's what it sounded like from Fox News. They were reporting on this and I saw a couple updates on this. One, Fox is saying that it's going to be Ed Martin, shout out, who got stonewalled by that loser, Tom Tillis, who should be, well, we're happy where he is. He's in the weaponization committee and now he's going to go after Tishy Letitia, it's like music to my ears, to investigate allegations of mortgage fraud involving pencil neck Schiff and Tishy Letitia. Let's go, Ed Martin. So good news over there. I think that he's going to be a good individual to lead this. Laura Ingraham also reporting the same. Sources close to the DOJ telling me that Ed Martin will be the special prosecutor overseeing Tish and Adam Schiff. So we'll see if that ultimately comes to fruition or if that is just rumor, but oh, how the tables have turned. And so Tish cannot be happy about that. Now, we also saw this report from Politico giving us some more details, saying this is stemming from a pair of politically charged civil cases, one's against Trump and the NRA. Subpoenas are in escalation. New York Times first reported about it, and of course, her people have responded. She successfully won. They love it in New York. They love these libs, these maniac libs. She ran for office, basically on the promise of prosecuting Trump. So we got the Tish was prosecuting Trump to try to take him out. She was part of the giant conspiracy, the Lawfare conspiracy against the president, indicting him in 4 locations, going after him on the ballot, throwing him off the internet after January 6th, and the list goes on and on. So now Tish is having to face the music and the chickens are coming home to roost. So here is what Fox News was saying about it when they were reporting.
With the probe, tell Fox News that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office is under investigation by the DOJ here in Washington. We're told that Attorney General Pam Bondi signed off on the probe. Subpoenas were sent to James's office, and there is a grand jury investigation underway in the New York State capital of Albany. The specific investigation, my colleague Jake Gibson, Ashley Oliver, and myself are being told involves deprivation of rights, which in plain language means someone in a position of legal authority violating someone else's constitutional legal right. Those sources tell Fox News the DOJ is going after James because she took then former President Donald Trump to court, quote, simply because she didn't like him and campaigned on getting him.
She did.
DOJ, led by Bondi, believes she violated his First Amendment rights dealing with free speech. James has said before she believed Trump inflated his net worth to get good deals on loans from lenders and other financial benefits. Ms. James won in a court judgment of over $450 million against the Trump organization. Trump is appealing and it's pending. The entire scope of the grand jury probe in Albany, Dana, is unclear. Grand juries are secretive, but we've learned from these well-placed sources it stems from a recent strike force set up inside the Justice Department to investigate an alleged plot to tie Trump to Russia in 2016. Sources say that strike force has expanded to other topics. Now, to recap, the Justice Department has initiated grand jury proceedings in Albany, New York, against the Empire State Attorney General Letitia James. But remember, this is important. A grand jury simply decides if there's enough evidence to indict. To be clear, we are told this is very early in the process, and no one, as I speak to you right now, is facing any charges at this time. Fox News reached out to Attorney General James's office multiple times, but we've yet to hear back.
No one is above the law, even Tishy Letitia. And so, of course, if she's an innocent person, then she can present her case in court, just like Trump had to do, and she can make her defense known. Now, here's how CNN was handling it. Gunther says they're melting down. Let's see what is going on here.
That's a breaking news coming into the Situation Room right now. The U.S. Justice Department is opening an investigation into the New York Attorney General Letitia James's office. This comes as part of a criminal investigation into James, who previously prosecuted Trump. Let's go live right now to our correspondent, Bryn Gingras in New York. What are you learning, Bryn?
Yeah, well, so we're getting this information. Our Karis Canal confirming that there are now 2 grand jury subpoenas issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of New York, looking to get information about James's office, basically trying to see if there was any criminality by her office when she filed that civil lawsuit against the Trump organization. If you remember that lawsuit going to trial and the Trump organization being found liable, having to owe now at this point, because of interest, about $500 million in penalty. So it appears that this is a pursuit to figure out if there was any criminality in the investigation moving forward to that lawsuit. So we're still trying to work out all the details of this, but we also understand there is another subpoena in relation to James suing the NRA, if you remember, the National Rifle Association, which was also found liable after the lawsuit her office filed. Now, we know that James is a big adversary of Trump, and we know that Trump has a history of going after people who have gone against him. He's spoken out many times against James herself during the time of that trial, and even most recently. So
remember when she was sitting in there, Alina said that she took her shoes off, stunk the whole place out, and she didn't do anything meaningful in the trial, as far as we know, other than sit back there behind the bar and just like watch the rest of the smarter lawyers actually do the job.
Oh, this is something, of course, that we're going to continue to follow, but that is the latest news that we're getting right now, again, from our Karis.
Okay, so Tishy Letitia, she's going to have to be looking for defense attorneys this weekend and has a new task at hand. So that's great news. She is is a criminal. She was part of the orchestrated coup against the president to use lawfare to try to take him out, disqualify him from the political spectrum. And arguably, I mean, not arguably, they tried to put him in jail. They wanted him to go to prison because they're lunatics. So now the people who abuse their office can be held accountable for their criminality. You can't just make up crimes and prosecute people or try to bankrupt them and take them out because you don't like their politics. That's not the job of the AG. You abused your office there, Tishy. Now you're going to face the music.